Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. My name is Lars Becker, and I'm here with the famous 19th century American writer Edgar Allan Poe. Did you enjoy your break?
No.
Well then, your short story, The Pit and the Pendulum, tells the tale of a prisoner who is bound to meet with death by way of a swaying pendulum. Why do you write such horrific short stories?
When exploring the mind of a human being, one must not forget what drives an individual man. Other writers may prefer to write about what makes a person happy and cheerful. I prefer to make my literature about the horrors history likes to forget. What happens when an individual is forced to watch his own death, patiently waiting for the final sway, the last stroke to be free of his bonds? What are the last moments of an individual's life? Madness. I write such horrific stories to explore the human mind for madness, and to remind others the true nature of man, evil.
How is man brought down to the point of madness?
My personal favorites are love and torture, although it's quite controversial, because love tends to torture the mind and soul.
I understand the Sylph represents death and the sounding of the trumpets represent Judgment Day. But what about the pit and the pendulum? What did these objects and sounds represent?
The pendulum represents time. Every second that passes by, death becomes closer and closer with every inch. This is a form of torture that drives the victim to his final point of madness. He dies with no integrity and unmerciful. The pit was a symbol of the unknown depths of darkness, a place all individuals wish to avoid. The pit symbolized hell.
Why did you let the prisoner break free of his bonds so he could escape?
The story was based off of an account of an actual survivor of the Spanish Inquisition. Although the prisoner may have freed his bonds, there are two things he would never forget. The first is death, and the second is the horror of memories.
Thank you, Mr. Poe. Coming up, we have the famous transcendentalist Mr. Emerson joining us for an exclusive interview. Stay tuned. Yeah, welcome back to our special show. I'm Lars Becker, your host, and our profound guest, Ralph Waldo Emerson. Thank you for being here, Mr. Emerson.
Thank you. I'm extremely glad being in your presence.
Compared to Edgar Allan Poe, why is it that you don't write short stories like him?
Oh, you see, there's no need to write short stories to show the presence of the divine soul. See, Poe requires fictional stories to explore the so-called evil in man. But whereas I can just write the good of nature and how God can be found. Stories are not needed to write about individualism or how conformity presents imitations. Essays are the form that the philosophy of the transcendentalism is presented to the world.
Is your philosophy present in your essay Self-Reliance?
This is an absurd question. Of course my philosophy is presented through every action I show, through every word I speak. I seek out through nature, and I seek God through Him and through people. And it pains me when I see an individual given into conformity. See, to become hindered by the name of goodness. I can say I'm an individualist. I can say that full-heartedly. I live and breathe the transcendentalist philosophy every day.
So, why is imitation suicide?
That's a good question. Imitation, suicide. Imitation suppresses imagination and individualism. It kills the very essence of individuals. Nothing is at last scared by the integrity of one's own mind.
Why does every heartbeat to that iron string, and what is the importance of planting corn?
See, the nourishing of corn, it's not simple, It's not expected for the corn to easily pop out of the ground and say, here I am, I'm ready for harvesting. See, that man must bestow it upon himself. to decide to dedicate long hours to work hard to grow that corn, to make that corn pop out of the ground. A man who truly works hard can achieve any task. He can be limitless when he completes these tasks. And through that hard work, the man will find a rhythm, a beat that him and the corn share through him putting in the hard work to raise this corn, to grow the corn. And something deep through imitation and imagination, that the divine soul is the artist that plays to the beat which everyone and everything is in tune in the universe.
Sounds good. Thank you, Mr. Emerson.
Anytime.
That's it, folks. Tune in for next week when we interview Arthur Miller and his tragic story, The Crucible. I'm Lars Becker, and good night.